I think the election, as well as the referendum on the Icesave issue, these elaborated democratic processes that we have been through in the last 3 or 4 years, have helped Icelandic society to deal with the fundamental shock of the financial crisis. The issues which remain, so to speak, are threefold. One is the assets or the claims which are held by those who are partners to the failed bank. And secondly, that there are still people in Iceland who, through their housing loans, are in a difficult position. But the third, and perhaps the most important part, is to continue the economic growth, to excel even better in many areas of the Icelandic economy.
Iceland is being put forward as a model for the way this has been handled. Do you see it that way?
No, I don't see it as a model, because I've heard so many people in the past 5 to 6 years throw models at us and say we should follow their models. But what I think the Icelandic case does is to call into question many of the prevailing orthodoxies and governmental policies and the so-called financial and monetary rules and truths that are still the basis of most policy making, both in Europe and elsewhere. And the Icelandic case can serve very well to test these prevailing theories.
The Icesave decision by the EFTA court, but you're still paying back the bills, aren't you? You're still paying the savers, and you're still paying the UK and the Netherlands, despite this decision, which basically said you don't have to.
No. The people of Iceland are not paying. What is being paid out are from the assets of this failed private bank, because despite it going bust, it turned out to have sufficient assets to cover what was paid out by the British and the Dutch. So in the proper way, as the capitalist system should function, it was the failed estate that was made responsible, but not the ordinary people of my country. But if you go back to our first conversation on this issue about 4 years ago, and you should remember that at that time, every government in the European Union was arguing that Iceland, the people of Iceland, the nation, should be made responsible for the debts of this failed private bank. But now events have shown that that argument, supported by every institution within the European Union, turned out to be economically wrong, democratically wrong, and by the judgment of the EFTA court, also judicially wrong within the European legal framework.
Have you, in a quiet moment, looked into the eyes of your critics and said, "I told you so"?
No, I have not done that, but quite a big proportion of the Icelandic people asked me to stay again for the president's office last year, when I had announced that I was no longer going to do so. And I think the level of trust which the people of Iceland showed me last year to entrust me with this office for the 5th term is in itself sufficient evidence.